Hello friends. Now this is our second poem. First one we have done, that is My Mother at 66. It is a personal experience, based purely on personal experience. But this one, an elementary school classroom in a slum, there's nothing to do with personal experience. It's a political voice. Political voice of the author. It is poetry of unrest. It is the author's responsibility to point out the dark spots in the life of human beings. Here you find a group of children from slums. When you read this poem now, you should also have that lost spring in your mind, where we have met already Sahab A. Alam and also Mukesh. Right, Mukesh? But Mukesh of course has a dream, but Sahab A. Alam, he ended up in a tea store, in a tea shop. You know that story. If you have that in your background, you will understand this poem in a much better way, because this is all about the boys, the slum, who have absolutely no opportunities to grow up in life. From fog to endless night, narrow streets, cramped halls, catacombs. Catacombs means underground burial places. So these are the words that the poet uses to describe the miserable life of these children. And about the author, he's Sir. The full name of the author is, I have written here, Sir Stephen Harold Spender. He was a poet, he was a novelist, he was a critic, he was poet laureate like Wordsworth and Tennyson. Poet laureate means national poet, political voice in poetry. When you find the poetry of kids, we are going to study that now. The thing of beauty is joy for all. You find there is no politics, nothing. As you found in Kamala Das, nothing. No such concern about other people's life. But this is a piece which expresses concern, only concern about social inequalities, the haves and the have-nots. What the haves should do. Basically, it is a Marxist poem written on a Marxist ideology, exploitation of the poor by the rich. And that is the reason why there are slums. Also, in the industrial background, the background is industrial revolution in England, as a result of which, of course, poor laborers, they had to live in clusters, and those clusters later became, even without basic amenities, so those clusters later became slums. You have heard of Dharavi. These days, Dharavi was in use. So that is a slum. Wherever you find industrialization, naturally there will be a slum. So then the slum children, and there may be a school, but what is the condition of the school? How the school is run? So this is what you see in this poem, an elementary school classroom in a slum. So about the poem is from The God That Failed, published in 1949. So this is a poem that expresses social concern. It squarely describes or brings before you the sufferings and the misery of the children of the slums, like Mukesh and Sahab A. Alam. Then it's a political voice of the poet, and the poet is appealing to the rich or the house to do something, take positive action, as otherwise there is a warning also. And the warning in the poem is, you will find, break open till they break the town. So if you don't break open the catacombs in which they live, the cramped holes they live, they are fated to live. What's going to happen is that they will break the town. You break open, otherwise they will break the town. A mini French Revolution. So this. Alright. Now when we come to the main, it's a lyrical poem. Then it's a poem about young children. It's miserable life of the poor children. Poor children in the slums. I have given in brackets just to remind you of Mukesh and Sahab Alam. A fervent call for social action. A strong reminder of the responsibilities of the authorities. Governor, inspector, fourth stanza. Equally strong warning to the authorities. If no concrete action is taken, here and now, what will happen is break open till they break the town. Talk will not do, words will not do. What we require is solid, concrete action. So this is an appeal. And there are 4 stanzas. Each stanza has 8 lines, total of 32 lines. That's just to give you a picture of the poem. Stanza 1 deals with, it is a close-up shot of the faces of the children present in the classroom. Second stanza is description of the donations. Donation not in the form of money, not economic help, but things which the rich people don't want them. They want to throw away. Or in our language we say akri. Shakespeare's help. Some map, some old torn map and all those things. They are hung on the wall. And then the poet says the maps or the pictures hung on the wall and the actual life of the people there. There is no comparison, there is no relevance for these people. Fourth stanza is life of these children from fog to endless night. Summarizing that. Their life is from fog to endless night. Fog, foggy morning, foggy evening, So they are born in fog and they continue living in fog and at the end they die in night. Now what does that mean? That is metaphor means born in misery, live in misery, grow up in misery and die in most miserable conditions. That's the meaning. Then a warning to the authorities and the urgent need for immediate positive action here and now. So this is the outline of the poem. How it is structured and so on. The author is Sir Stephen Harold Spender, a poet laureate, a political voice, Marxist ideology. Then the poem is, as we have seen, it is a political voice, God that failed. It is from that book. It's a lyrical poem. Young children, how are they about young children who lead miserable lives, children of the slums. Then you have got necessity for social action, reminder of the responsibilities or a warning including break open till they break the town. Fourth stanza. So the first stanza, if you see, you will find the classroom, those present, you say when you call out the name, they are the present sir. So who are those people who are going to say present sir? The faces of all the children are pale, suffering from anemia as a result of malnutrition. So all of them are pale. They are rootless weeds. Why rootless weeds? They are considered as weeds. On a farm, you can see what is the importance of weeds. You pluck and throw them away. So they are rootless weeds. Their hair torn round. and their face pale again. There is a tall girl. She sits in the class with weighed down head, like this. Responsibilities of the family or hard work during night. Understand? Then you have got a paper seeming boy. A boy as thin as paper. His eyes are rat size. What is the importance? Why the eyes are rat? Rat is always greedy and looking around for food. Like that, this boy is thin as paper, so he is looking around for food. If there is a sitting in the class. There is another boy who suffers from a congenital disease. Congenital means he inherited the disease from his father. It's called twisted bones. So, bones are twisted. Congenital disease. Growth standard. Standard means retarded growth. Retarded means he may be 12 years old, but he looks like a 4-year-old child. That is standard. And then twisted bones. That is because he inherited it. And there is one boy, he's a sweet boy, young boy, but his mind is not in the class. He is thinking about the squirrels playing in their tree homes. The homes of the squirrels are trees. So how they are playing? So he was thinking he wants to get out of this place. Such is the classroom in stanza 1. Prasansa. Who will say prasansa? All with pale faces. They are like rootless weeds. Hair torn round their pallor. Girl with weighed down head. Paper seeming boy. A boy is twisted bone, standard growth. A disease inherited from his father, an unlucky person. And a young boy, sweet boy, who doesn't attend the class. Physically he is present, but mentally he is not. Second stanza, the boy speaks about donation sang, like Shakespeare's head. Cloudless at dawn, another picture. Morning, but cloudless. But contrast is, the picture is cloudless at dawn, but their lives are full of, they are overcast with the clouds. That is the contrast. Shakespeare, what use these people of? Shakespeare tells stories of love, stories of romance. There's no place for such things in the lives of these people. So there is a contrast. Shakespeare, cloudless at dawn. Domes, pictures of domes. Domes mean round structures above high-rise buildings, skyscrapers, heaven-kissing buildings. These people, they live in huts, cramped huts. So then again there is a contrast. Tyrolis Valley, the picture of Tyrolis Valley, very beautiful valley in Australia. It's a famous tourist spot, but they have never seen a flower. In the slum, there is no garden, nothing of that sort. So every time you find the contrast. And also you find an open hand now. It's touched and lost. Lost is shine. These things have no relevance in the life of these people. Because why? Because their life is painted with fog, not cloudless and dawn. There are no domes in their nearby their place. They have never seen any dome. Because they are living in slum. There you have got their narrow streets. Their sky is blocked with lead. That means you cannot see through anything. So there's nothing in front of them to see, to dream. Not even a possibility of dreaming. There are no rivers, no capes, no valleys, no stars in their lives. First stanza is the classroom, second stanza is the donations. How each one of these, first of all, have no relevance. Secondly, the contrast. The poet is establishing a contrast between what you see in the donations and the actual life of these people. In the donations you will find Tyrolis Valley, but there is no valley here, no sky here, no river here, no capes here, no domes here, nothing. And the third stanza of the poet says, these things are wicked. Shakespeare had done this map and all those things. They are not wicked as such. But for these children, they appear to be wicked. Now, for example, I will give you a T.S. Eliot's poem, you must have come up with T.S. Eliot, E-L-I-O-T. The wasteland begins like this. April is the cruelest month. April is not the cruelest month. April is one of the most beautiful months, full of flowers, singing of birds and all. But for the inhabitants of the wasteland, April is cruelest. Why? Because they are unable to appreciate. They are sick. They live in a situation of anesthesia, dying people. A person is dying and you go to him with a diamond necklace. It will have no impact on him. The diamond necklace may cost 10 lakhs rupees, but this man is dying. What is the use? For him it is cruel. Like that. These pictures, these Shakespeare said, domes, valleys, Tyrole's valley, etc., they are wicked. Because for these people, they don't have basic need, food and shelter. For such people, you are showing this Tyrol is white. What is the use of that? So these things are wicked. The map is wicked. Shakespeare's head is wicked. Tyrole's valley is wicked. All this. And there is a possibility that this may trigger or prompt them to steal. They may become thieves because these are things which we don't have. So what, we will become robbers, dacoits. Understand? There is such a possibility there, that's what it is. They can become antisocial elements. So don't show them this. Why? He says, because their life is slyly training. Slyly. That means, sly actually means cunning. Their life is slyly training, cunningly. In the sense that not in an honest way. Their life is from fog to endless nights. From misery to greater misery. Lasting misery. Then they live in cramped halls, small huts. They live on slag. Slag means waste materials. And then those who wear spectacles, the frame of the spectacles is steel. You can hurt, so rough it is. The glasses, they cannot buy new one, they get it repaired. And the glasses look like pieces of bottle on stones. You take your bottle and throw the stone, then part of it will be there now, sticking. So like that. What a situation. Isn't it? Then he says, cramped house, free. And their life is very, very sad because you find children so thin, through the skin their bones are protruding. It's peeping through the skin. That's what the point is. Their time and space foggy, miserable. There is no hope, hopeless. On their life there are blots, means dark spots. And then they end up in a doom, means hellish life. Life in a hell, equated. So that is the description. So here again the contrast continues between the donations and their life, actual life. There is absolutely nothing to compare. From misery to misery, from fog to endless night. And the fourth stanza, what the poet is trying to do is the laying bare the terrible situation. And then the fourth stanza and the last stanza he says, He appeals to the governor, inspector and the visitor, he says. These lives here, they are lives shut up in catacombs, crammed halls. They live in catacombs, underground burial grounds, cemetery, or tombs, graves, underground graveyard. You cannot come out after death. If it is an open space, sometimes people say, even if you bury people, they will come out at night, 12 o'clock. Macbeth, Shakespeare says now, witching time of the night. That is witching time. That means after 12 o'clock, these people who are buried, they will come out. There is some such superstitious beliefs. But here, even superstitious belief even does not have any chance here. That is what the Spender says. Absolutely no scope for them. Because they live in catacombs. Their houses are crammed halls and catacombs. And then the poet says that, break open these crammed halls. That means change is required. Change. Change for the better. Otherwise what will happen? Break open these catacombs. They break the town. Otherwise they will break the town. Careful. Revolution is in the offing. Cameras. This is, you expect a many French revolution. Come on, liberate them. That is, in other words, give them whatever is required for growing up as any other decent child. Decent life. Provide them with all the needs, freedom, physical freedom and mental freedom. Physical freedom, let them go out and see the bright blue sky. Let them go and play on golden sands, on the seashore. Let them go for excursions, picnics, enjoy nature. Give them mental freedom, plenty of books, opportunities for learning, green pages of books. Now another very important thing is, he concludes the poem like this. History theirs whose language is the sun. Sun, bright, light, tamasoma jyotirgamaya. You lead these people from darkness to light. History is theirs. What does that mean? They are the people to make history. They are the people who are going to live in history. So, immediate concrete action required. With this, the poet concludes the poem. In four stanzas, 32 lines, he has spoken volumes to us. To us. Us means those who are rich, those who have got, those who enjoy all the pleasures of life. Those who are fated, inverted commas, to lead a life of luxury. Think of these children who are fated to live in catacombs. Break open those catacombs means liberate them. Give them both physical freedom and mental freedom. Now tomorrow we will take it section by section and explain. I think that you are enjoying my class and you get benefit out of these classes. Alright. The poem is really interesting because it is, you can see, almost every line is a metaphor. For example, from fog to endless night. This is a metaphor for what? For misery to greater misery. It is fog to endless. So he plays with the metaphors and similes. Like rootless weeds. As you can see further, you will find when you read the poem. Of course, I will be commenting on that. I think that it will be a great enjoyment for you to read the poem, and also it might prompt you to take social action in favor of these children, wherever you find them. Of course, this is written in 1949, situation in England. That is, I told you, in the background of the Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution, wherever there is industry and Industrial Revolution, it is bound to produce slums. There is no doubt about that. So the point is that we should not leave them as such. We should bring them to the mainstream of life, not that allow them or ignore them, show indifference to them, and then say, let them lead a life like this. Let them remain as marginalized people. Let them remain as downtrodden people. So that we should not do that. We, including myself. So what little help we can do, we should do. That is the message of this poem. Bye. Have a nice time. We will have detailed discussion in the next class. Till then, bye. Have a nice day.